Pause it. That there is NBA All-Star D'Angelo Russell. But you already knew that. And this is a clip from a USA basketball practice back in 2012, when Blake Griffin put on a show for some young hoopers. But you already knew that as well. I mean, the original video has over 4 million views. But do you know who this is? Or this? Or this? You probably know him, and him, but what about him? See, last summer, 6 years after this original video was recorded, the NBA released it again, only this time they highlighted some of the more notable players throughout the video. Because a lot can happen in 6 years. In fact, a lot did happen in 6 years since these kids were left speechless back in 2012. So today, I wanted to take a deeper look into who exactly was in the background of this video, how they managed to get so much young talent into one gym, and where these young basketball players are today in 2019, how their careers have turned out, and who has come out on top as the best basketball player in this massive group of hoopers. First things first, you may be wondering why these guys are wearing matching polos like a private school with the most elite basketball program ever assembled. Well, all these players are actually part of a USA Basketball youth program. U16, U17, and U18 teams. I can't find much information on this event, but I'm assuming it's similar to a basketball camp environment, where Team USA Basketball invited the nation's best high school players ranging from freshmen to juniors going into their senior year, as a method of getting the best young basketball talent in the country accustomed to tough competition and to just give these kids a great experience for all their hard work. But as exceptional as these players are, even the best of the best have a tough time climbing the professional ranks. So let's start from the bottom. All these players are exceptional in their own right. You don't just accidentally get invited to join USA Basketball. But with that being said, not everyone can be the best. So let's first remove all the players that never played in the NBA. Well, that was quick. The only player out of this entire group that hasn't played in the NBA up to this point in his career is Kennedy Meeks. And even he is quite the hooper. Averaged 19 and 16 in high school, McDonald's All-American, and an NCAA champion. Next, let's look at the players that played in the NBA but had forgettable stints in the league. Like Xavier Rattain-Mays, whose NBA career lasted just 5 games before being demoted to the G League. Diamond Stone, the 6th ranked recruit in the entire country his senior season, a player who was ranked above Derrick Jones, Donovan Mitchell, and DeJounte Murray, played just 24 minutes in his entire NBA career while shooting just 23% from the field. And then there's Cliff Alexander, the 3rd ranked player in the class of 2014, ranked above Karl Anthony Towns, Kelly Oubre, D'Angelo Russell, Devin Booker, and about a dozen other legit NBA contributors, played just 23 minutes in the league and scored a whopping 10 points in his entire NBA career, which is 10 more points than I have ever scored in the NBA myself. Besides those 4 players, everyone else who appeared in that 2012 video has played considerable time in the NBA. So let's start with the least considerable. Theo Pinson, short for Theophilus Alfonso Pinson, possibly the greatest name ever, played just 18 NBA games this past season and averaged 4.5 and 2 rebounds a game. Theo's most notable basketball moment came in 2017 when he won an NCAA basketball championship with the Tar Heels. Isaiah Briscoe went on to play at Kentucky, but unlike many of his teammates, his NBA career was cut short at just 39 games after averaging 3 points and 2 assists a game. Chris McCullough was an IMG Academy product, and after just half of 1 season at Syracuse, he declared for the NBA draft. Despite only playing 1/2 of his freshman season in college and recovering from an ACL injury, Chris was taken in the first round of the 2015 NBA draft, but has since struggled to get any momentum in his 3 NBA seasons. But that doesn't take away from Chris's incredible hustle. In his 4 years since leaving college, Chris has played for 9 different teams. That includes 7 teams in the past 2 seasons, and that doesn't include the San Miguel Beermen he will be playing for this season. The San Miguel Beermen. I like it. Tyler Ennis gained popularity in 2014 after his impressive play throughout the college basketball season. Despite being ranked as the 20th best player in his class, Ennis may have had the best college season of any freshman that year. After becoming an NCAA Naismith Player of the Year finalist and being selected as the 18th overall pick in the 2014 draft, Ennis had 4 mediocre seasons in the NBA where he averaged 4 points and 2 assists a game. Now, although Troy Williams was one of the lowest ranked players in this video coming out of high school and going undrafted in 2016, Williams has had short stints with multiple NBA teams and now has a 2-way contract with the Sacramento Kings. Now, the next tier of players featured in this video are guys who still have spots in the NBA but play few minutes and contribute on an inconsistent basis. They can put together impressive games from time to time, but not often enough to gain much recognition. Players that are still young enough to make an impact in years to come, but still have a long way to go. Like Sindarius Thornwell. After averaging 21-7 in his senior season at South Carolina, Thornwell was drafted with the 48th overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft. And although he has had a less than inspiring NBA career so far, putting up 4 points and 2 rebounds a game in his first 2 seasons, Thornwell currently plays for the Clippers, which means he may become an NBA champion very soon. You may not recognize the name Jarrell Martin, but not too long ago, he was one of the top-ranked players in his entire class. After following up his prep hype with 2 dominant seasons at LSU, Martin was selected with the 25th overall pick in the 2015 draft. Since then, he has played 4 mediocre seasons in the league with career highs of 8 and 4 a game. Not a good player, not necessarily a bad player, but a 25-year-old with a spot in the NBA nonetheless. Similar to Martin is Wayne Selden. Wayne Selden is a player that has never had much buzz surrounding his name, but has been a solid contributor in the NBA for the past 3 seasons. Recently traded to the Chicago Bulls, Selden has proven that he can come off the bench and get the job done, averaging 8 and 3 a game. After an unforgettable high school career that earned him the spot as the 6th best player in the country, and after playing just 1 season at Kentucky, Trey Lyles, along with 6 of his Wildcat teammates, declared for the draft. That is the starting 5 along with 2 bench players, all going to the league in the same year. Lyles has put up solid numbers so far in his young NBA career, averaging 10 and 5 in 2018. Just a couple weeks ago, Lyles signed with the Spurs, which I think will prove to be a great move for him. Noah Vonleh was ranked as the 13th best player in the class of 2013, and his play over the past few years makes you wonder why he wasn't ranked higher. After being selected with the 9th overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft, Noah made his NBA debut just 2 months after turning 19 years old. Last season with the Knicks, Vonleh averaged a career high in points, blocks, steals, assists, rebounds, and games started. At this point, I think it's fair to say that Vonleh will have a long and successful NBA career. Josh Hart had possibly the biggest come up of anyone on this list, being ranked as the 92nd player in his class coming out of high school to being drafted in the first round of the NBA draft. Josh Hart's incredible play throughout the 2016 NCAA tournament instantly gained him the admiration of basketball fans around the country and dramatically raised his draft stock. After becoming a summer league legend and giving the Lakers 2 solid seasons, Hart now plays for the New Orleans Pelicans, where I think his career will soon take off and he will have a breakout season. Now, this next group of guys includes the 5 best players featured in this video, ranging from NBA starter to NBA star. These 5 players are young, talented, and in some cases have the potential to become all-time greats. Now, if you look closely, way in the back, doing his best impression of a serial killer is Bobby Portis, an underrated young NBA talent. After dominating college basketball for 2 seasons, Portis was selected with the 22nd overall pick in the 2015 draft. And in his 4 NBA seasons, Portis has gotten better each and every year. Despite having an injury-plagued season, in 2019 he had career highs in 8 of the 10 major statistical categories. Portis has proven himself to be a major contributor on a regular basis, and the 2-year, $31 million contract he signed this offseason is evidence of that. Another underrated young talent in today's NBA is Julius Randle, who you can see here absolutely losing his mind. Randle came out of high school as one of the best players in the entire country, stepped up his game in college to earn himself a spot as the 7th overall pick in the 2014 draft, and has since improved his game every single season since he's been in the NBA. Lately, some NBA fans have been making the parallel that Zion Williamson is a better, more athletic version of Julius Randle. And although Zion's ceiling is incredibly high, Randle just wrapped up a season where he averaged 21 and 9 a game. Contrary to this belief that has been floating around, Julius Randle is everything that he was projected to be. People forget that as a rookie, Randle suffered a broken leg and missed the entire season. All things considered, and at the rate that his game is improving, he may end up being one of the best power forwards in the entire league in just a few years. Alongside his fellow hoopers, watching Blake Griffin put on a dunking clinic is one of the best dunkers ever in Zach LaVine. A kid who, in just 3 years' time, would leave us all speechless with his performance in the 2015 dunk contest. I mentioned in my D1 story video that back in high school I played against Zach a few times, and although he was good back then, I don't think anyone expected him to rise up into the player that he has become today. In high school, he was ranked as the 50th best player in his class, ranked under dozens of guys you've never even heard of. And even in college at UCLA, Zach put up average numbers at best. But in his 5 NBA seasons, LaVine's game has evolved from an above-the-rim slasher to an all-around, skillful, shot-creating monster. Only 4 players under the age of 25 average more points per game than him this past season, and he has asserted himself as one of the NBA's brightest young talents. One of those 4 players under the age of 25 that put the ball in the hoop more than he does is this guy, Devin Booker. Although Booker may be the most accomplished and well-known player in this video, he's actually the youngest player featured in this video, which may explain why he looks like a 12-year-old who just happened to stumble his way into a USA basketball camp. In fact, despite going to college for 1 year, Booker still made his NBA debut when he was just 18 years old. He's always been regarded as one of the best players in his age group, a top 20 recruit in the country, a Kentucky commit, and a one-and-done talent. Book has always been a threat on the court, but in his 4 NBA seasons, he has truly taken leaps forward in his game, taking himself out of the young talent conversation and asserting himself into the NBA star category. Check this out. Here are the stats of 7 star NBA guards. Tell me, which one is Devin Booker? Yeah. With better numbers than nearly every all-star guard in the NBA, it's unfortunate that Book has struggled to lead his team to more wins. Otherwise, he would be regarded as a 22-year-old superstar. On the other hand, this video does feature a future all-star NBA guard, D'Angelo Russell. Long before anyone had even heard of D'Angelo Russell, millions of NBA fans recognized him as that one kid in the Blake Griffin video. These days, D'Lo is known for a whole lot more. Similar to Devin Booker, Russell was highly regarded throughout high school, went on a tear in his one and only season in college, and has been a big-time player since stepping foot into the NBA. They both came out of the class of 2014, and they both sat relatively close on the high school ranking leaderboards 5 years ago. Now in 2019, D'Angelo Russell was on the same all-star team as Blake Griffin. 7 years ago, D'Angelo Russell looked on as Blake Griffin put on a show. 7 years later, they are teammates during All-Star Weekend. Digging into the finer details of this video was really interesting. I remember watching this video way back in high school, and just like these guys, I was tuning in to see Blake throw down. And although 2012 seems like a long time ago, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Most of the players in this video are my age, so to see how far they have come in just 7 years is pretty cool. Among the laundry list of pointless but intriguing facts I learned while researching this video, here are a few of them. 10 of the 20 players highlighted in this video have played in the NBA playoffs. That means 50% of the kids highlighted at that camp have played in the playoffs. To put this into perspective, only 40% of all NBA players have played in the playoffs. Coming out of high school, this is what these players were ranked in the country within their class. And this is what pick they were drafted with. Although there is some resemblance of a correlation between high school ranking and draft selection, this should be eye-opening to a lot of young hoopers out there. Rankings are far from everything. In fact, only 6 players were drafted with a selection higher than their high school rank, which, when you think about it, is an incredible feat. Of these 20 players, here is a breakdown of where they went to college. Of course, Kentucky has the most recruits with 4, followed by Syracuse, Indiana, UNC, and Kansas. Here's a table displaying the most points each of these players have scored in a single NBA game. 4 players featured in that 2012 video have scored over 40 points in a game. And when you include Devin Booker's 59-point performance from this past season, each of these 4 players have accomplished this feat in the 2018-2019 NBA season. 13 of these 20 players have scored 20 or more points in an NBA game, which I find to be mind-boggling. Back in 2012, some guy with a camera captured a seemingly insignificant moment at a Team USA basketball practice, panning through the crowd of NBA hopeful high schoolers losing their minds over a few dunks. Little did they know they were filming 19 future NBA players, a future All-Star, a future 2-time NBA dunk contest champion, a Summer League MVP, a few NCAA champions, and one of the league's most prolific scorers. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always, until next time.